The design here calls for free flowing shapes such as you find in the edge of that grassed area, but also in internal paths that move, in this case, through the grassed area and probably extend into garden bed areas. You want great flexibility. Well, the entity that you'll find on the draw drop-down, the spline entity, or in the draw toolbar, is good for experimenting. I have a spline entity here, and you can adjust the curvature a number of ways. See how nicely I can control the end, start and end of the spline rather, and I can move the various control points at will to create the shape that I want. I'll remove that one now and just try and illustrate, or use this drawing here to illustrate there are some catches to how you create these sorts of shapes. If I select this segment of a curving path, it's being created with the spline entity, even though in the properties box it's simply called a polyline, but you know that it's a spline entity because that little control that sticks out at the end. And here's another curving shape too, but notice the number of vertices that appear in that shape, and that occurred because it was created by drawing with a polyline and then exploding the polyline and then offsetting. And we often see quite large drawings from our users and the users are puzzled as to why simple drawings end up being relatively large, and this is often the cause. If I click over here, can you see literally dozens and dozens of vertices in there, 124 vertices on that little segment, whereas if we come here, see there are very few vertices, in fact 4 vertices in the whole design, so that's going to be much more efficient to work in that way. To illustrate another problem, if I try and hatch, say, the path area through here, the hatch will in fact fail and gCADPlus may well reboot. What I want to do is to remove that one, and I've recreated the shape, this time using a spline, so relatively few vertices. The same here. Don't forget, you can, if you want to add a vertex, you just highlight or make hot a vertex and right click, and you can then add a vertex. You can't have 2 polylines selected, but we could make that one hot now. Input a coordinate, and whoops, I'm trying to demonstrate that I can add a vertex here, insert a vertex, so you've got more control over that flexible line. But I digress. What I want to illustrate is, and I'll save just at the moment, is that if I go to draw and hatch, and I want to have some sort of fill on it, we can have a solid fill, I should be able to pick a point and just click into that area, and with a bit of luck, because we've got rid of all those vertices there, and I just tried this earlier, what gCADPlus has done now, it's recognized the path. The reason it stopped at that point there, and I could redo it and move those vertices down to there. But I hope what it illustrates is that gCADPlus can radiate out and find the edges of the path quickly. But if you had exploded and lots of vertices in there, you wouldn't be able to find that boundary. So it's found that in using an internal point, I can say now I want a solid fill I won't worry about a color for the moment. Can you see we've now filled that path? So you could easily change that color now and have a much softer color by picking some sort of grey-green, and we'll OK that and OK that. So there's our path being formed very, very easily. So just a little word of warning, don't explode polylines, you'll get lots and lots of vertices. So it's a bit of a plea for using the spline entity.